adjacent angles is the name of the game. Complementary and supplementary are super important. These are, important, but not as important as the other ones. So, let's define vertical angles. I'm going to show you level 1 of vertical angles today. And then maybe let your high school geometry teach you the other levels. Vertical angles are congruent. Does anybody know what the word congruent means in math?
No.
So we're writing this down. We're not just listening to me. I'm in my notebook and I'm writing about new topics. I wrote today's date, I wrote my title, and now I'm defining vocabulary words. Welcome to class. Okay, congruent is a fancy word for equals. So if you ever read the word congruent, it just means equals. But math people are super special, so obviously we can't just keep using the word equals. Like, how basic is that? So they came up with a brand new word, congruent. We actually only use it in geometry. Congruent means two figures, two angles are equal to each other. But we don't say equal, we're special, we're extra. We say congruent, okay? They're opposite from each other. Comma, and they share a vertex. Okay? Might be a couple of things you don't know from this definition. We'll go over it. So vertical angles are congruent, which just means equal. Opposite from each other. So, like, if one's on the top, the other one's on the bottom. If one's on the left, the other one's on the right. So that's what I mean by opposite from each other. And they share a vertex. What in the world is a vertex? This is a vertex. Where the two lines of when you draw an angle, it's two lines, right? So where those two lines meet, oh, remember when I told you to draw a dot when we started drawing angles? Yeah. So that dot, see, I did that on purpose. That dot is called a vertex. I totally did that on purpose when I told you to draw the dot, because I knew this day would come. I did something right for once. Okay, so super easy. Here is a line. What does this line measure? 180. Good. And then all of a sudden, here comes this other line. Boop. And it intersects it.
That's an X.
Yeah. It's kind of like an X. How many angles do I have now? 4 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see the 4 angles? All right, we're going to label it A, B, C, D. Angle A, angle B, angle C, and angle D. All right? So, let me repeat the definition of vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent, equal, are opposite from each other. One's on top, one's on the bottom, one's on the left, one's on the right. And they share a vertex. Okay? In this problem, in this example, the vertex is right here. That is your vertex. This is your vertex, although I kind of messed up the writing. V-E-R-T-E-X, vertex. So that's a vertex. They all share it. You see how they all come from it? Okay. Take an educated guess. which two angles are vertical from each other? Angle what and angle what? A and what? Are A and B on the opposite sides? One's on the top, one's on the bottom? No, they're kind of next to each other, huh? Angle A and angle C are opposite from each other. So, like, if we kind of look at it like an angle, see how this one's on the top and this one's on the bottom? So they're opposite. They also look like they're equal. Look at the angle for A. Doesn't it look like the angle for C? They're both obtuse. Both. So, vertical angles are angle A and angle what?
C.
And what do we know about angle A and angle C? We know that they are obtuse, but most importantly, they're equal. They're congruent, which means they're equal to each other. So vertical angles. Angle A is equal to angle C. What? Because in the laws of math, if they are opposite from each other, they share a vertex, then they're equal. Someone discovered that millions and millions of years ago. They're like, wait a minute. If I didn't draw this with a straight line, so I can't really do this. But if I measure this, and then I go and I measure angle C, I will get the same number. The reason, Diego, so you don't have a phone, I took that away. It doesn't mean let's pick up my iPad and start. All right. A and B are equal. What other pair? B and D. Yeah, no C's in there. So, no, B and D. So, like, D is in, like, kind of like the left spot, and B as in boy is kind of on the right. Like, if you look at it, left, right, right? So they're opposite from each other, and they're equal. So if I tell you that angle A equals 100 degrees, you can tell me all the other angles. What's 100? So angle C is equal to 100 degrees. I had to ask for lead over there for Tanya. All right. You actually have the ability to tell me what angle B and D are. Who can figure out what is the measurement of angle B and or D? Yes? 50? No. No. Okay. No, you can't. Because we didn't do it with it. Okay, what if I do this? Good job. Okay, how did she get that? Well, no. Okay, I covered up everything. You are only saying A and B, correct? What does A and B form? What kind of angles? 180. They're forming supplementary angles. Do you see the straight line? What have we learned these past 2 days about straight lines? 180. When I first drew the orange line, I even asked you, what does it measure? And Wendy, I believe, said 180. I did that on purpose because I knew I was going to ask you again. So do you see that these right here make 180? So angle A and angle B equal 180, which is literally what we did right here, right? Oh, hey, look at that. It's 100, and it's x. So, I just told you that A is a 100, right? So if I cover it up, together they make 180. I'm telling you that this is 100, so what's left over?
80.
Because what's 100 plus 80? 180. And what does 180 look like? A straight line. So if angle B is 80, what else do you know? D is 80. Opposites are equal. Opposites are equal. And this is also a straight line. Do you guys see? This is a straight line right here. It's like upside down, but it's a straight line. Also right here, this blue line. Isn't this blue line 180 degrees? Yes, so what's 100 plus 80? 180. Oh, look at this other blue line over here. What's 100 plus 80? 180. What is a circle equal to? All right, so let's practice some more. Diego? 360, very good.
Can I make it straight?
Sure. All right, just draw two lines. I'm not measuring. So you can't measure it. I'm not like, oh, I made this angle 90 degrees, and I made this angle. I didn't. I just literally drew an X. So you draw an X on your paper right now. And I'm going to label it. Let's see. What do we do? A, B, C, D. So we're going to do E, F, G, H. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So we have angle E, F, G, and H. We're okay? So, I'm going to tell you that, okay, which are the pairs? Which two are vertical? Which two are opposite? H, F. All right, let me write that down. Angle H is equal to angle F, right? And what other pair? G and E are congruent. Let's write that down. Congruent, which just means equal. Congruent is a fancy word for equals. They're also called vertical angles. Vertical means they're opposite, they're equal, and they share a vertex. That little dot right there. Whew. Okay. I'm going to tell you that angle E is 60 degrees. I didn't draw them with a protractor. I just drew an X. Okay, if I tell you that angle E is 60 degrees, what do you know without doing, you do no math. What do you know?
180 minus 60.
No, you're doing math. Yes, G is 60 degrees. Did I do any math? No, all you know is that these two are equal. Like, you're done. Like, it's that easy. They are equal to each other. There's no math involved. That's it.
That's what we just got.
Now we have to do some math to figure H or F. Pick one. Doesn't matter which one. F? Okay, so I can do this. These two. Do you guys see the straight line right there?
Yeah.
I could also do these two. That's a super straight line right there.
No, 80.
Okay. Together, what do they have to equal? 180. I already gave you 60. How much is left over? So it would be, let's just write it down so your brain sees it. So angle E plus angle F have to equal 180, right? I know that angle E, write this down, is 60 plus angle F is equal to 180. So yes, whoops, sorry.
Where do you get the 120 from?
When you subtract, this is why we're writing it down. F equals 0 minus 0, 0. 8 minus 6, 2. 1, 120. That's how we get 120. Because we know that together they make 180. This is what we learned the past 2 days. And this is what you did on your test. When it looks like a straight line, it's 180. Okay? When it looks like an L, what is it equal to when it looks like an L? 90. When it looks like a straight line, 180. Okay? All right, so we solved for F, 120. Do we need any more math to solve for H? It's just 120. Do we get it? Slowly? Surely? All right. Let's see. Don't shout it out. You do this one on your own, okay? So just draw me an X. I didn't measure it. You can't judge it. You can be, oh, it looks like 100, Miss Mel. Yeah, it looks like 100. I didn't use a protractor, so guessing a random number ain't gonna help you. Let's say this one's 135. Oh, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K, L, M. I'm just going down the alphabet, but I'm skipping the ones that look like numbers. All right, so angle J is 135 degrees. So I want you to solve for all the other angles. One of them involves no math. And the other ones involve a little bit of math. Can you do the one without doodling? The one without no math right away. All right. Right by now, if you've been listening to me, you should know what angle L is, right? Yeah. Involves no math. What's angle L? 135. Right? That one's because why? Because they're vertical angle, they're opposite and equal. Opposite and equal.
I have to find the answer for 180.
You have to do M or K, whichever you want. And you realize, like, oh, look, it's just a straight line. I don't know. 135 plus K is equal to 180. So this right here, this line right there. This plus this is equal to 180. So if K is equal to 45, what do we know?
45, no?
Yeah, they're both equal.
I was really doing like
Hey, as long as you do it, it's cool. That's what I want. At your own pace, you do it. It's when you don't do anything, then we have issues. All right, pretty easy? All right, cool. This is level 1. I think you're good here with level 1. I'll let your geometry teachers teach you level 50.
Wait, what?
And when you get into geometry, this is level 50 for first period. We did it. It was great.
Oh, what is that?
that. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Is that what's the same? Are you doing add numbers?
Yeah, for sure. That's all you do. No big deal. And a page to solve it. All right. 3, 1 for each period. Okay. Let's define adjacent. Let's define adjacent. He's a 7th grader. He sits near the front of the room. Doesn't do his homework. Adjacent angles are two angles that are next to, that's a 2, each other. They share a line called a ray, but we're just going to call it a line. Oops, sorry. Adjacent angles are two angles that are next to each other. So these are next to each other. They're not opposite. They're next to each other. And they share a line. The correct terminology is called a ray, but we're just going to call it a line. And they share...
Isn't a ray just a line?
Correct.
Well, I can't make it
Oh, then maybe you should...
It's paused.
It's pause.
It's pause.
So what are you listening to? Your iPad? That should not be.
No, my iPad and mine.
He's listening to Travis Scott.
Alright, I should just confiscate all earpods on Friday, and then you won't have AirPods over the weekend. Oh, I should do that.
I don't have AirPods.
Oh, then you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about.
I mean, I do, but they're in here.
Good. Alright. Okay, so let's draw an X. Draw an X. Let's go back to ABC. Alright. So, adjacent angles are next to each other. They share a line. And they share a vertex. Remember, the vertex is just this middle point where they cross. So, let's identify the adjacent angles. Adjacent angles would be angle A and, not an equal sign, but an and. You all know that symbol means and, right? Like this, like a weird E, a backwards E, weird E. All right. Someone in my first period didn't know that that was a symbol for and, so we taught them that. So angle A and angle B are next to each other. So do you see how they're right next to each other? They share this vertex. And they share, head out up here, right here. They share this line.
Is that an equal?
No. It's an and. Yes, but you know. I even told you 2 seconds ago, but apparently I didn't.
Wait, what is that?
All right.
She just said it.
All right.
Oh.
I never said anything like that, but okay. This angle, this orange angle is angle A. Do you guys see this orange angle? This blue angle, stop. Do you see the angle for B? Right? Do you see how right here, I drew it in the same location, this right here? So they share this line. That's the ray that they share. So in order to create A and B, I have to use this line twice. So that's why they're called adjacent. They're not equal to each other. There's nothing special about them. Really, honestly, there's nothing special about these other than they're next to each other. That's it. What other angle is next to A? Angle A and angle D. This way. Do you see how these two angles are next to each other? They're just next to each other. Nothing special. Miss Ochoa and I are adjacent classrooms. They're next to each other. This is the wall that we share. We share this wall here. They're adjacent. Oh, yeah. Especially if she's not teaching, they hear us. If we're not like if we're doing a test, we can hear them and vice versa. Okay, what other angles? There's two more. Actually, there's way more. Which two angles are adjacent to each other? C and D. Angle C and angle D. What else? C and A. These two are next to each other? No. B and angle C. Yeah, but they all can't handle that. You can. You do it. You do you. Any other pairs? No, right? So like these two, then it's these two, then it's these two, then it's these two, right? You go like in a circle. They're not equal to each other. We can't solve for anything. Adjacent is just identifying them. Like, okay, which two angles are next to each other? So here's what kids do. They confuse vertical with adjacent.
Oh, no.
I know. Just remember, adjacent, like in the real world, also means next to. We have adjacent classrooms. The bathroom is adjacent to my bedroom in my house. Adjacent, next to. We share the wall.
What's a J?
Adjacent. And it's like, does he do it on purpose? Adjacent angles are angles that are next to each other. Kind of like some of you, like my bedroom is next to the restroom. And one of the walls in my bedroom is a wall in my restroom. Like we share that wall. Maybe for you it's the same. So next to each other, they share a line. I share the wall with the restroom wall. Share a vertex. We share a hallway, I guess. Yeah. All right. Are we okay? It's been great, kids. It's been great. Right on time. Yay, Miss Lameli.
Oh yeah, we have like 3 minutes.